as I had expected, or at the very least thought was a very good possibility. The Rangers come out flat after a long road trip and they lose to the Calgary Flames 5-1. And they deserve to lose. And the first period was really bad. Really bad first period. The Rangers have had a major problem scoring goals. But I think it also starts from the defensive side of things. And I think that it's tough because the puck moving defensemen are kind of somewhat non existent besides Adam Fox. It starts from there, but also players like Artemi Panarin really come to mind as not getting the job done early. Am I saying that he won't end up with his normal numbers in the season? No, but the first 7 games, it's been a struggle for him. He's turning the puck over a lot. He's very stationary. He's just, it's not what we're accustomed to. And tonight was rough for Zibanejad. I'll give him a bit of a pass. I feel like he had a good start to the season, but even for him, I think he'd even admit he needs to be better. So their top players aren't playing well. Of note, Ryan Strome returned. He did test positive for COVID. He returned. Kakko's still out. I would think he'll be back Friday against Columbus. But Strome returned. They sent Morgan Barron down to Hartford. And Julian Gauthier came into the lineup and they scratched Greg McKegg. But yeah, it was really tough. And also there were injuries too. Ryan Reeves, there's clearly something wrong with his leg. I don't know if it was the same one, but he had 1 or 2 shifts and he would come back to the bench, which I guess is a good sign just to support his teammates. He would not play again after the injury, but apparently it's not too bad of an injury, but I guess we'll see if he plays next game. Ryan Lindgren was out for a little bit. He should be fine. I think he blocked a shot, but he should be all right. But Shesterkin was really incredible in the first period, holding it as long as he did scoreless. Not one of his better games, of course, when you give up 5 goals. He's certainly low down the list of problems in this one, but really sloppy play. A lot of turnovers, giving the puck up to Calgary. And on the flip side, the Rangers did not have a whole lot of time and space. Calgary was clogging them up. Jacob Markstrom, when tested, was good. So Calgary, full marks to them. They deserve this win. You saw this coming, and it's too bad, again, because now is kind of when the Rangers' sort of mini break hits. So even though the road trip technically ended, and that's kind of the mindset, you still had a slew of games, including this Calgary one, and now you don't play. Now you have 3 off days. So it's too bad they couldn't sort of end that on a good note, especially with a very strong Metropolitan Division. The Metropolitan Division looks as good as you'd expect it to be. So, look, the Rangers are 4-2-1. That's all well and good, and if they can keep that pace, that's going to, they'll go a long way. They need to get as many points as they possibly can if they want to be in this playoff discussion. Because this division looks really, really strong. So, like I said, the Rangers got off to a really, really bad start, and they were almost able to get out of the first period unscathed. Again, a lot of bad turnovers, and Shesterkin was up to the challenge. But eventually what happens, there's a penalties on Jacob Trouba and Brett Ritchie. Roughing penalty, so it's 4-on-4, and we've seen the Rangers at times give up goals in 4-on-4 situations. They also have scored 4-on-4. It's been a little bit sketchy, and what do you know, they score. And I thought the Rangers were a little bit too aggressive on this 4-on-4. Just players, and I felt like Barclay Goodrow had actually one of the better games today. But I could just recall on this goal, like he jumped off the bench, and I felt like he was being a little bit too aggressive. Chris Tanev comes in and scores. So Tanev at 1850 scores. Not a great goal by Shesterkin, but again, at that point, you can't really kill him because he had done so well. So it's one thing Calgary headed into the second, and Markstrom makes a really nice save on Sammy Blais. Eventually what happens is Patrick Nemeth makes an egregious turnover, a terrible turnover by Nemeth, right onto the stick of Andrew Mangiapane, who scores and makes it 2-0. Patrick Nemeth, a really rough night. And Nemeth, I mean, he's going to be a guy that's going to be in the lineup basically every night, especially because they gave him a 3-year contract. But look, he's not susceptible to being a healthy scratch, in my opinion. And to me, he's really no more than a third-pairing defenseman. I understand, like, on the penalty kill, he'll be elevated to one of, like, the more main penalty kill guys. But Nemeth, he's not, to what I can tell, he's not horrible, but he's not that great either. And tonight, I felt like that Nemeth-Lundqvist pair wasn't very good. And I wonder about Nils Lundqvist. I wonder if, I understand that his handedness helps him, the fact that he's right-handed, because behind that, I believe, to my knowledge, it's really only Braden Schneider, I think, who is a threat on the right side. Although you can have lefties that play the right side, of course, but based on preseason, it seemed like Zach Jones was like the closest in my mind to getting there. You know, remember, there's still Jarrett Norty and Libor Hayek that are healthy scratches. So Jones, in theory, is down on the depth chart. But the point is that Lundqvist, I don't think it's a terrible thing for him to get some seasoning in Hartford. Not that Lundqvist has been horrible, but I just think it'd be better to get him more bigger minutes with the Wolfpack. But either way, really bad play by Nemeth makes it 2-0 Calgary. And then at that point, the Rangers start settling in and getting better. I felt like when the Rangers were down 2-0, they were starting to get chances. Kreider would draw a penalty, but the power play was unsuccessful. The power play continues to be really bad. That's inexcusable. The power play sucks. For the personnel that's out there, you cannot be doing the shit they're doing. And a lot of that is Panarin. A lot of that is Zibanejad. Strome, to me, is a piece that doesn't really belong in that number one power play unit. So, again, when Kakko's back, I'd put him on there instead of Strome, but it's well beyond that. Panarin and Zibanejad got to get right. They don't score there, and then Chris Kreider takes his once-a-game penalty. Really bad job. He's unable to clear the puck, and then he takes a hold of the stick penalty. And we'll talk about another instance where Kreider couldn't get the puck out. But the Ranger penalty kill was able to kill it off. And we head to the third down 2-0, and there's some line juggling going on. Lafreniere gets moved down, and Lafreniere, it's been inconsistencies. And I know he's young, and he's come up in the clutch. He has these intangibles that you like, but you want more from Lafreniere. You definitely do. I want to see more. You can be patient, but I'm not overly impressed. You know, there's a lot of inconsistencies to his game. So he gets moved down, and they move Gauthier with Kreider and Zibanejad, but really with him, I'm not impressed. Like he has the physical skills and theoretical upside, but I'm just at the point of being done with Julien Gauthier. I just don't know if he's a regular NHLer. I think he's kind of a fringe guy. I think he's kind of a really good AHL player who, in the right situation on a bad team, could do well on the NHL level. But for Gauthier, he did get moved up. But again, he's a defensive liability. There's no doubt about that. And he doesn't do enough offensively to justify that. But when Kakko comes back, what I would do is I would put Kakko right in that spot with Zibanejad and Kreider. Leave the Panarin, Strome, Goodrow line. I'm all right with that. And then the Lafreniere, Chytil, Blais as a third line, I think that has worked, and I'm fine with that as well. Now that, and then I would go with Hunt, Rudy, and Reeves. But if Reeves is hurt, then I guess, Gauthier or McKegg at this point, either one. Speaking of that fourth line, the Rangers would be unsuccessful on a power play. But then right after that, they score, and it's Kevin Rooney. They first gave the goal to Dryden Hunt, and I felt like Hunt and Rooney played a pretty good game. And it's Rooney's goal from Hunt, who gets his first point as a Ranger, and Jacob Trouba gets the other assist. So you're thinking, all right, down 2-1, a lot of time left. The Rangers have had that ability of coming back. Maybe they can do it again. And they had one good shift after, but then the next shift was a really bad one. And what I can think about is a couple of turnovers. I think Gauthier made one. Gauthier, a really bad shift by him. And Kreider should have gotten the puck out, but didn't. Again, the inconsistencies of Chris Kreider, they exist, and they've existed for years. And it's a goal by Blake Coleman. Coleman, the puck was in the Ranger zone forever. It was a back-breaking goal. Momentum totally gone. And Coleman makes it 3-1 Calgary. And soon thereafter, Mikael Backlund would get a goal to make it 4-1 Calgary. And unfortunately, what happens is Philip Chytil takes a penalty at 18:24 of the third, which seems meaningless, but the Rangers had a penalty kill streak that ends with 5 seconds left in the game as Andrew Mangiapane gets his second goal of the game, and it makes it 5-1 Calgary, and that's the final. Shots in the game, 37-29 Flames. Again, the Rangers just did not. It was a bad game. It was a really bad game for them. Sloppy play, and they got what they deserved. And they better be ready for Columbus. Columbus is playing very well. It will not be easy. It's a divisional game, but it's a big game for the Rangers because they'll be heading out west after that Columbus game. So they got 3 days to practice and be ready. But again, Rangers, a disappointing effort against the Flames, but I guess you can give them a pass because of that really good road trip. But they, like I said, we'll see what they do in this other game at the Garden at the end of the week against the Blue Jackets before they head out for a West Coast trip.